Hello, my juice friends. This is Lake Shay, and it's day 17 of my juice fast. And I just finished reading a book called Willpower, Rediscovering the Greatest Human Strength by Roy F. Baumeister and John Tierney. Black book with a gold seal like this. Somebody loaned this book to me. The writing was not great, but it was really interesting, and there were a couple of things that I read in this book that I thought that I would share with you because they've been helpful to me. One is that the research says that a human being has a certain amount of willpower that they can exert each day. And this is one of the reasons why the book asserts that when we try new things, if we try too many new things at once, we're more likely to fail than if we kind of take one thing at a time and get one habit down. So that made some sense to me. So when I made my New Year's resolutions this year, what I decided to do was to just focus on juicing and to really get organized around that and committed to that, and to really, go through the ups and downs of the beginning of a juice fast and see what it was I needed to do. I also timed that at a time where I didn't have a lot of travel in my work, because that's really quite challenging, as some of you know, to juice on the road. And so far I've found that really helpful. So when I've had a difficult time, I've had a little bit of reserve. And the book says if you don't do that, and if you're in a position in your life where you're having to make too many choices, then that can also be difficult. So that was a second thing that they said about willpower that I thought was pretty interesting. And that was that if we have to, the more choices we have to make in a day, the more our reserve of willpower is used up. And they cited a lot of interesting research around that. So what I've done is just determined that I'll have just juices kind of from what's in the fridge. I do refresh my kale every day, but other than that, just what's in the fridge. And I will not try, not spend much time thinking about recipes and that sort of thing on the day that I'm juicing. So I do have some fun with recipes, but I just keep a little file. I think that it feels to me like that's working, so you can try it for yourself too. So the second principle is to not try, the first one is to not try too many things at once, and the second principle is to not have to make too many decisions during the day. And of course we make hundreds of decisions, or in some cases, depending on your job, it could even be many hundreds of decisions every day. The third principle that I found in this book that I found really helpful was the idea of what they call bright lines. They were saying that it's easier to stick to something if the boundaries of what you're sticking to are really clear. This is the reason why I think in the juice club, with all the people just juicing, that it can really work. So other people are saying just raw. That's also an example of bright boundaries. A less bright boundary would be something, let's say if you say, well, it's different. It's a more bright boundary to say I'm going to have all juice and one smoothie than it is to say I'm going to have juice and smoothies. Because you could end up drinking smoothies all day long for several days in a row and actually gaining weight, depending on what you put in the smoothies. So that was the third principle I liked in the book, the idea of bright lines as kind of boundaries to support yourself on this fast. And I don't think in any way it's meant to say, it's not meant to take the joy or the juice out of juicing. It's just meant to give you a little bit of support so there's not too many decisions to make. And it reduces the fudge factor, or at least that's what I'm finding for me. So I'm really happy about those three things. I can't recommend it as a great piece of literature, but again, the book is Willpower by Roy Baumeister and John Tierney. There is some interesting research on here. I wish they'd put sort of the 10 principles of willpower somewhere in the book. So if they write a second book, or if either one of you guys are on a juice fast and you're listening, that's what I wish that you'd do on your next book. Anyway, thanks again. I'm really excited about everybody's videos. I really appreciate it now that I'm doing myself. I know exactly how much work they take. Holy macaroni. See you tomorrow. So far, working.